Some of our most successful white-collar matters involve people who never ended up being charged. We've had clients come to us from a variety of industries, including pharmacists, IT professionals, directors of organizations, and other white-collar professionals who found out that they were under investigation by the federal government. Ultimately, we're proud to say that these clients never ended up setting foot in a courthouse because they took the right steps during the investigative stages of their case.
In our white-collar practice, one of the most common questions we get from our clients is, should I meet with the government? Should I talk to the agents? Should I explain to them what happened, what I did, why I'm not guilty? And the answer is maybe, maybe not. That question can only be answered after a thorough factual and legal investigation of the case, and even after that, the answer is not always clear, almost more so than any other task in a white-collar case that involves exercise of judgment to know the right answer. And to illustrate the point, I handled two cases recently. One was a mortgage fraud case involving alleged fraudulent loans in a particular jurisdiction from a particular U.S. Attorney's Office. I advised my client to meet with investigators, and he did, and he was never charged. Within a few months of that case, I handled another case in the same jurisdiction, same prosecutor's office, also involving fraudulent loans, where I told the client not to meet with prosecutors, and he was never charged. I offer these two examples to underline the point about whether to talk or not talk is a very important question, can only be answered after a thorough investigation of the case, and either way can be a successful strategy to avoid criminal charges. In representing our clients that are facing white-collar matters, oftentimes being accomplished professionals or government officials as they are, they have a lot of more community support than other criminal defendants. They've had a long career, they've accomplished many things, they have a wide network of personal contacts. And in many, many cases, what you see is some of those people are more than willing, in fact, happy to step forward and be character witnesses for our clients, and that can be very, very powerful evidence. And the law is, in fact, that evidence alone can be a reason for a jury to find an acquittal.
Oftentimes when the government decides to charge somebody or is close to charging somebody, they haven't thought through both sides of the issue. They haven't thought about the person that they're dealing with. In fact, sometimes they don't even know the person they're dealing with. They haven't investigated the person's character. They haven't investigated the way the person has lived their life. And as my partner explains in this video, a person's character is always an issue at trial, but it's also always an issue when you're dealing with the government. And one of the things that we like to do is go into the government and explain our client's character, our client's life, so that the government can get an understanding of who they're dealing with, and they can get an understanding of what that person's character evidence will look like if they take a case to trial. And in some cases, that right there is enough for our client not to be charged.
One of our cases we handled recently in another jurisdiction involved a fairly serious breach of law and ethics by the investigating agents. We found that through a thorough investigation of the case, filed a whole series of motions, raising the legal issues involved before the judge, and ultimately the prosecutor made the decision to voluntarily dismiss all charges against our client in that case rather than submit his proof to trial.
In many white-collar cases, in fact, I'd say probably most cases, the government is not just looking at one individual. The government is looking at a group, an organization, a company, and they sometimes jump to conclusions or miss details about the involvement of individual people. We recently had a case where our client was charged with making fraudulent credit card applications. And once we did a thorough review of the evidence and investigated the case, we went to the government and tried to show them why our client was not involved. We tried to convince the government that they were wrong about our client's guilt. In that case, the government was not moved, so we went to trial and we presented the evidence to the jury, and thankfully, they acquitted our client.
In defending a white-collar criminal case, especially in federal court, it's important to understand that you're going up against the federal government with all the enormous power that it has and all the financial and other resources it can bring to bear in a prosecution. But it's also important to understand that the federal government is not infallible or invincible, that it's possible to fight the federal government even in federal court and win. It's also important to understand that as much respect as we have and everybody should have for law enforcement and the government makes mistakes and the government breaks the rules. In our practice, we've seen search warrants executed without probable cause. We've seen deals made with cooperating witnesses who were obviously lying. We've seen innocent people indicted on insufficient evidence. In each and every case, for each and every client, you can be sure we'll examine your case thoroughly, and if the government has crossed the line, broken the rules, or done something unethical, we'll bring that to the court's attention. We'll take every step we can to assert your rights and make sure that you get the defense you deserve.